Welcome to Intuitive Art Sales. This is the show where I, Jessica Craddock, am going to teach you how to source your art marketing from within. You're going to practice claiming that authentic art business that you want and leading into the most natural way for you to get there. You're going to learn to get connected to your intuition, your confidence, and your community so that you can sell your art consistently while holding strong boundaries on your work-life balance. Hello, and I'm here with Ellen Sears. She is an oil painter, and where she is in her journey is focusing on building her portfolio, building up that perceived value. And during this winter, she went all out with her applications. So, Ellen, let's kind of dive into a little bit of what do you want? Where are you going? Where are you getting held back? So my first question is, let's pretend it's a year from now. And you have done it. You have nailed it, and you have this financial independence that you have been searching for. Tell me more about that vision.
About the vision?
Yeah.
You just summed it all up very well. The whole series.
Well, I looked at your notes.
Very good. I don't know. The financial independence is beautiful. I just sort of go by phase. So after I hit one mark, then we just pick the next goal and work on that. But the systems, they just carry you. So at that point, then I'll just reevaluate and probably do the same thing I'm doing now, but a bit more in depth because I'll have a different level of experience.
Okay, so tell me about these systems of yours.
Yep. Oh, so systems, I believe, are the key to success. So preparation meets opportunity is where it happens. My systems look like, I know on a month-by-month basis how much time I have allotted for social media to build all my posts, because I go in and do all of that for free. So the images are a part, and then the writing of them is another part. And the blogging, I'll have a certain amount of time set aside for if I'm going to do that. But then on a yearly basis, I know when I have to have all my sales prepped and the marketing prepped for Mother's Day, for New Year's, for Christmas. So there's systems all in place. As long as you stick to the systems, when you have a fallback, when you kind of go astray, that's where your consistency comes, and consistency is beautiful.
Yeah, that is so funny because I just recorded another interview and consistency was the word. Not my word, her word.
Yeah, it's a word.
Yeah, for sure. And so tell me, your systems include content, include reaching out with applications for different events, looking ahead to what is coming up and what do I need to do in the meantime? Anything else? Am I missing anything?
No, I mean, there's the basic housekeeping of, making sure that you have all of your photographs professionally done, because I do sell prints and things. So I don't know, you have to have systems in place for the different levels of your photography for my social media versus what you're going to have for prints in a store, maintaining a website. And I don't know, there's a lot of systems, but they work. Yeah. If you have them written down, then you don't have to think about it. I mean, you do, but not really.
Yeah. So we're still in the vision here.
Yeah.
So your systems are working.
Okay.
What is working? Does that question make sense?
What is working? What is working is the fact that I can look at it then and see what did or didn't work and what needs to be tweaked. Because if you can't change and learn and grow, the learning part is where, if you don't have the experience, then you can't learn. So that's, and
it's very smart of you.
Yeah, the ability to see what worked and what didn't work and what can you do better, and you'll know new people and you'll do new things. So it'll be good. I love where I am right now. This is great.
That's amazing.
This is awesome. I did really well this summer.
Good job. Yeah. So, okay. You are financially independent. You're really proud of yourself. How is it manifesting? Like where is this money coming from? And what are the activities that you feel like are making the biggest difference for you and that you're enjoying the most? Let's make sure to throw that in there.
After being in a studio for such an extended period of time, meeting people and making connections, that's where I want to go.
Mm.
I need to have balance. I'm a balanced person, but that would be nice.
Balance is amazing and essential, in my opinion. I don't think that it's something that you can do without,
No, it's not.
because if you are not balanced, you are stressed out, you have no room for inspiration, you're just following the steps, which steps are good, but at some point, it doesn't give you that time for a rest and reflection and what you were saying, like evaluating what is working and what is not. So all with you there. We're not going to steer any direction other than that. You are making connections. Tell me more. I really
That's
need
okay.
to kind of understand what it is that you want so we can help you get there.
Sure.
So when you say connections, is this with individuals? Is this something else? Like, what do you mean by connections?
Yeah, I believe there's cogs in every wheel. So in everywhere you look, then there's different, I don't want them to be all just one type. I've been exhibiting with the Federation of Canadian Artists. One of those things would be to take my little self into some of those general meetings and go meet the people and meeting other artists, but just people in general. I haven't done big art fairs since 2007. So for me to step back into that is exhausting. I know what to expect. It's 3 full days. I think they expect 13,000 people to go through. So when you're there, they want to talk to you and you need to be on, but it's exciting. It's really exciting. And you have to know how to let go of a lot of people's perceptions of you at the same time. So it's, you find your people and you find who's not your people equally.
Yeah. So it's not a, they're this type of person or this type of person. It's who is my people.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you were going down the it's exhausting road, and I was like, uh-oh, I don't know if we should be doing this. But then you turned back on and lit back up and said, and it's equally exciting. That's okay. So we're good.
That's the social side versus the painting. The painting side is the restorative side for me.
Yeah.
Because that's when I'm alone and you find the zone. I mean, I'm equally social, but I need to have both.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you. Most of my life, I've considered myself an introvert. I'm starting to get to the point where I can say, you know what? I actually really love being around people, but I need that balance. And they have to be the right people. They have to be my people. If it's just anyone, oh, that's so exhausting for me. I can't. I just can't. And that's okay. I have made peace with that fact. I love everyone, but I'm not going to spend time with everyone. So you are around people you love. You have that balance of studio time, connection time. You are making money. You are showing up in ways that mean going to meetings or applying for things or going to art fairs. You're being visible, but then you're having that time to go back inside and to your meanness. I love that.
Meanness. Do you want to know what lesson we're working on?
Tell me your
right
lesson,
now?
please.
Part of the reason that there's not sales for the last 3 months, like time period, is because I did take a big step back. So I looked at those people who are currently in my inbox, the people who are on my email list, you know, the whole spectrum. And I know where and how that got built from a rather naive point of view when you jump in and you're sort of serving them instead of maybe coming at it from a point of authenticity, which I've decided to shift to, where I've never spoke about my artwork. I always wrote about why. I have very solid, serious reason about why I didn't speak about it. And I decided, no, I don't mind sharing it for the people who want to know. I'm not going to push they're kind of personal to some degree, as much as you want to take them. And I have a rather large email list that has been built on the whole wrong people. We are trying here to pivot on that and start, not necessarily from scratch, because there are definitely some solid people in there. I have people that buy on a regular basis and who interact and support and are beautiful, and they're lovely, of course. But I want to play with either building in a different direction, or so I guess what I was doing recently was a lot of writing and sort of rebranding, and then we're about to step back out again with a little bit of that. It's hard to do all that though. and make it all
is.
work together.
It is.
So there's a learning curve that goes with that too, until you get that in there, you know?
I feel like you are so on the right path. And there's one really big tweak that I feel like needs to be made in your
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
This may or may not work with your personality, but I'm going to challenge you a little bit. You, it feels like to me, are very singular focused. I'm going to do this. I'm going to step back and I'm going to fix all my branding. I'm going to do all the things. And then I'm going to jump in. And then I'm going to apply. And then I'm going to do this. That way of working, while it can work, is going to take you much longer to get places. So it's almost that I would rather you, as you are stepping into one focus, you're also experimenting a little bit outside of it. What that might look like in terms of, let's just use your email list as an example. Let's assume everything you said is right. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, that you've built a huge list with all the wrong people.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what it is, but it's large for you. And that's amazing. Congratulations for doing that, truly. So as you are or have taken a step back and said, I need to write all this stuff, I need to polish my branding, I need to make it perfect, and then I'll jump back out there. What if instead of it's all or nothing, it became, I'm going to write something and I'm going to send it out to this list and I'll see how they react. And honestly, what you're hoping for, if everything you told me is correct, is you get a bunch of unsubscribes.
Yeah.
If you do, you know you're on the right track. If you don't, then either your hypothesis of them being the wrong people was wrong, or you're not pushing yourself far enough. So instead of stepping back and doing all the things behind the scenes and then putting it out, you can get feedback along the way to help you get to that place a lot faster.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
And I think that that's true with all the things that you've been doing. So at the beginning, you told me I was building my portfolio. I was figuring out why I'm valuable. I was doing all these things. I had this sturdy foundation. And then I started applying. If you had started applying as you were figuring this out, you might have been actually to the point where people were going to start accepting your applications way earlier than you thought you were. But you were it's almost like a safety mechanism to where I want to feel ready and then I will show up.
You had to have enough work too. You have to have a body of work behind you to do that.
I feel like you probably did.
Started the nails about 2.5 years ago. So I don't know.
Over 2.5 years, you haven't created 5 to 10 pieces.
Oh no, well, I have them now. I've got 40 going to show with me this next week. So
yes. Okay. So what you just said was I have 40. That may be true that for a art fair, art show, you need to have more work.
Mm-hmm.
But for a group show, like a group art show, you only need one.
Yeah, because I submit my best. I submit sort of just whatever you have on the go, and make sure that you don't submit the same one to different places here, because I do screen what it is that I've sent out for to some degree to make sure that there's a match up there, because I think I do that for sure. My acceptance rate, I'm afraid to say, has been, I'm happy with it.
Good. I'm glad.
But yes, you're right. I will try that.
And if you do that, it will lead to more rejection.
That's okay.
Which is scary. It sounds like
oh no, that's okay.
You're good with it.
Oh, well, yeah, there's a decent amount of rejection in there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course there is.
That's impossible to not have.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say this for you. I'm going to say this for everyone else. Being afraid of that rejection will keep you from getting what you want. So much of having a business as an artist, selling your art, making money with your art, Art is such a intimate, personal thing. It's scary to put yourself out there because it's almost like you're going to feel like they're rejecting you instead of a product that you have. If you were someone who, let's say, made mugs. However, that is the thing that you love. It's the thing that you have chosen. And so it's just going to be a part of this, and never let it stop you, because you have a vision, you know what you want. And to get there, you must have this attitude that Ellen has. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm just going to do it. No matter what, I'm going that direction. Come hell or high water, I'm going to get it.
Yes, this is going to happen.
This is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yes. Let me ask you a different question.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like, because you have so many things going for you, you have confidence, you have a system, you have follow through, you have business mindedness, you seem to know what you want. Why do you feel like you aren't all the way there yet? Why don't you have that beautiful vision right now?
Because I don't have the financial independence.
But
It's
why
going
don't
to
you have
come,
that?
but I will. I don't know.
Why hasn't it shown up?
Because I've been going through the yes, it works, no, it doesn't work, and the growing phases of that. I mean, I definitely make money, but it goes on a, like on the Christmas peak and on the Mother's Day and on the whatnot. So it kind of comes in waves. It doesn't, and I know how to plan for that. But I don't know. It's sort of, there's still phases in growth. So, you can make so much one year and then you assess it. The growth is growing.
Yeah.
But I think the knowledge is growing more than the financial growth.
You are a numbers person. So let me ask
know.
you this. You said you've been working on this for 2.5 years?
Yep.
And no matter where you're at, I think you're at the perfect place. So I'm just going to start with that. But I'm also trying to kind of assess what's going on.
Yeah.
So have your numbers grown year over year thus far?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea, like percentage wise, like it's grown 50% from last year? Or if you don't, it's okay. I didn't ask.
No, it would only be about 10%.
Okay.
But then I wouldn't have been at art shows. I wasn't making the connections, and I was building the email list, which you start to see you can really see a difference in that. Because if you send out a new piece, people write back and like, ooh, I like that. So that always helps. I don't know. Maybe that's your weakness, is you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. So
I love that. That's great.
So I don't think that there's anything, I'm going to say, quote unquote, holding you back. I think that you are on the right path. The only thing that I want for you is to make that path speed up. The way that you are going to speed up is what I said earlier about not segmenting. Here is what I'm working on right now, which is really easy to do.
Yeah.
And I have this ADHD, so I can get hyper focused onto something, or I cannot be able to pay attention. Like I can be all over the place on that spectrum. But the thing that I have found keeping me really grounded over the past, let's say 6 months, is I have this mentor who taught me to do 3 things every day. And I've tweaked this to make it my own, but delivering to my clients to make sure I'm always being the best that I can be, that is a priority for me. So what is one thing I can do today to deliver for my clients? For you as an artist, that would switch to what is one thing that I can do for my art today. That might be, I feel like painting a background, or I feel like varnishing, or I feel like looking through books for inspiration, or whatever that is. Mm-hmm. The other thing is nurturing relationships. What's one way that I can nurture connections which you said is one of the things that you really want. My guess is it's also one of the things that gets put on your back burner the most.
Yes. Don't like writing the emails. Oof.
And when I say connection, I am not talking about content. I'm talking about a person or a class or introducing yourself.
I don't even know how do you know, or what would you do?
Let me
an
take back the
example.
introducing.
Yeah.
Because that starts going into blah, and that's a whole month of classes on its own. But you said earlier, I have this great group that I would like to participate in more.
Mhm.
Which it was
Well,
the
it's
Canadian
just any
artist.
random group would be good.
Any
One
random group
particular
would be
group, but
good.
yeah.
But
Not
we
random,
also
but-
talked about who do I love? Who lights me up? Who do I want to spend time with?
Mhm.
So those kinds of groups, those kinds of people. And sure, it could be things like, hi, I'm Ellen, but we're not going there right now because that's, I feel like, going to shut you down. So we're not adding that to the list.
Okay.
It could be, I need to follow up with someone. It could be
Fair enough.
somebody bought something and I need to go make sure they're happy with it, send them a thank you note. Like, there's a whole spectrum of what could nurturing connection look like. But if you are doing one thing a day, look how much faster you're going to get. It could be replying to an email. You said,
Yeah.
I get a lot of emails about when I send out a piece of work. So the last one is marketing. And most people prioritize this one. When I say marketing, most people think content, which I believe is probably where your head's gone to newsletters or my social posts strategy or all of that. It doesn't have to be that. It can be your applications. It can be things like, I need to do a live today. That's kind of content too. It could be, I want to spend some time thinking through what worked and what didn't. It doesn't have to necessarily be you putting yourself out onto a platform.
Okay.
One of my favorite things to tell people to do is to have a group invitation and personal invitations. When I say that, what I mean is I want to invite 3 people in for a Zoom coffee this month. And so as you are doing your nurturing or your marketing activities, you could be looking for, who do I want those people to be? As you know, because you have said this, putting yourself out there leads to opportunities, leads to new things that you were not planning on happening. So as you are doing these 3 things, you are paying attention. You are looking for, what are my new opportunities that I'm creating for myself? These kinds of things are what I call needle movers.
Yeah.
And if you make sure to try to do one big or small activity of each, it's going to keep you in this place of forward motion, even if you have a focus of working on my portfolio or painting or whatever your thing is.
I definitely, that probably
keeps-
is my weakness. Through the fall, I write. So that's when I get all my, I don't do monstrous amount of writing for it, but I'll do 2 or 3 blogs, and then I work with a writer and I'll set that aside. Then I paint, and then you do this or that. But when I pick something, I definitely you don't block everything else out, but boom.
Hyper focus. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, well, there can be if it becomes a problem.
Well, I like to hyper focus and it works for me.
It does
But
work
I
for me too.
also still make
Do
sure to keep my other priorities, and they don't have to take very long. Like, you could do all 3 of those things in 30 minutes flat, or you could make them take all day. But if you already have a focus in mind, you're probably going to, go do those first, and then you have the rest of the day to work on other things.
Yeah.
I think if you can practice that, that's going to bring you momentum faster.
Can you summarize the 3 things? Because I
Yeah,
think I
sure.
got lost on number 2.
Art, relationships, marketing.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Easy. The other thing that if you can handle this, and I think you can,
Yeah.
if you can look at it through a lens of, right now I really need to be working on being more visible. What is the thing in visibility that scares me? Which I don't think you have a whole lot of fear that even that you're sharing with me. Everybody's got fear. And that's okay.
Yeah.
So then you can say, okay, what's the thing that makes me afraid in visibility in my marketing? I'm going to do that today. What's the thing that makes me afraid in my nurturing that I could do today? I'm going to do that. If that's too much, maybe you're only afraid of one of those things and the other 2 are easy. You can make this your own.
No, I like that. I like that because it's more challenging.
It's very challenging in all the best ways.
Yeah.
Because it also helps you conquer those fears much faster. You get the immediate return on what's happening in real time, where it's not like you sit in your brain and think about it forever about what's going to happen. What do I do? And then if this happens, what, blah, 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 blah. You just do it. And then you get a result. And almost always that result is positive. And so you get to where you're not afraid of those quicker moving activities much faster.
Yeah. I like that approach.
So I said I was going to give you a big picture.
Yep.
And an action step, but I think that is both.
Okay.
Because if you do that daily, or not even daily, let me take that back. I'm going to take that.
I do it on a week basis when I'm following my little, that part of the to-do. I definitely avoid that nurturing thing. Sure. That nurturing thing. You like how I even word that? You know, you really don't want to do it. But it's funny though, if I stop and think about it, I think I do it more than you realize, because when you reply to the emails, you know, someone wrote to me the day before yesterday, I guess it was, I put a post on, and I love how if you put all this time and effort into something, then it goes nowhere. And I put a random thing out. I wrote a quick little blurb about it. And my goodness, my reach, because I measure things more in reach and in shares and things. I was like, whoa, that one went somewhere. But I had that one moment for your nurturing where some gentleman wrote to me, and he's another artist from Toronto. And it was the most touching, beautiful email. It was in the response thing. So I didn't respond. I put it in a message and took that out of there completely to tell him, like, that was just really touching. So when I do that, that does fall under that nurturing.
Of course it does. Yeah.
Thing.
And I'll give you a rule that I give my clients. And I'll probably say this 800 million times over if you pay attention to me at all. But text is not as good as voice, is not as good as video.
Okay.
It is not as good as being in a group with someone, is not as good as one-on-one.
Yeah. So what does that look like with the nurturing though? Like, how do you, so my one-on-one though would be the fact that I replied to him. I replied to text, but it was one-on-one.
Yes. How you could have made that better is send a voice message. I send voice messages every day.
Oh, I know nothing.
I'll teach you. Is not as good as making a video reply and sending it to him in his messages.
No.
It's not as good as saying, I am so grateful for you and I really want to get to know you better. Would you ever be open to having a coffee chat with me?
Yeah, because he's actually close.
So even in-person coffee chat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I never thought about it being other than that.
So you did great. You took it to the messages and made it more personal. You wrote back. It sounded very heartfelt.
It was amazing. Yeah.
That is incredible. And I'm just giving you little tweaks.
Yeah, of course.
Just do the exact same thing. That makes it even stronger.
Huh. So how would you suggest then, seeing as my main thing is that I have a lot of people following me that were built on, or they were built by, I should explain that first. I want to be mindful of your time too.
Okay.
So my thing I'm trying to change, I guess, or what it is right now is how do I say that? Just a minute. Let me compose this. My current avatar, if you want to talk, I don't know, language marketing, your
sure.
follower people, they were based on what do you call that? Facebook ads that were catered to someone who mirrored my mother. And that was a mistake that was done by somebody I had paid to help me do that. They didn't even ask me about what the work meant or who I wanted it to be targeted for. They kind of just went forward on that. And then I was left after the fact with an assessment and not picking up pieces, but it was a lesson learned for sure.
Yep, I was going to say lesson learned.
It doesn't help because one, they definitely don't value artwork in a way where they would ever spend money on it. Very rarely. I don't know, but it's not where I want to continue to go in that direction. So we're like moving it toward more of a personal, where I stood up into that, my value, this is what the work means to me, and then align with the people that mean that. So it's nice to have people like your artwork, but then if they're interested, they can also find out what the artist wants to know. And for some reason, I'm sort of taking the marketing in that direction.
You're doing exactly what I would tell you to do. So art sales are based on connection, or not every art sale, but a large portion.
Yeah.
So that could be your values messaging, that you are stepping up and putting yourself out there and sharing your meanness. I want you to continue doing that.
Okay.
I want you to continue challenging yourself. Maybe this is your challenge number one in your marketing, is to be even more. What would I be afraid to say to my mother?
No, it's the video. Let's go for the video.
All right.
And let's show up every Monday at noon, and let's actually not just write it down there in that system, but let's like show up for it.
Yeah.
Because that's where the self-check comes in. Because if you're not, you need to be honest with yourself. Did you show up? You know how to show up, but did you?
So if you get a notebook or a planner or something.
Oh yeah.
And every day write down art, relationships, marketing. How do I need to show up? What am I afraid of? Boom, boom, boom. And then you can see, I didn't write anything down for the past week. Oh, nothing happened for the past week. Weird. It's like weird. I've done that before. I've
Funny
said,
how that happens.
oh, I didn't make any sales this month. Oh, I didn't really do anything. I didn't tell anyone what I had for sale. I didn't offer it for sale. I didn't talk about it. I didn't do any of the things. And I expect people to somehow buy from me? Weird.
I like that. You could just put that into a little clip right there.
There you go.
That was good.
Well, I've learned my lessons. I have plenty of lessons to learn, but I have learned that lesson. My job is to share. So that's
Beautiful.
what I'm here to do.
Beautiful sharing. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Ellen, tell me if someone wants to learn more about you, they just really connected with you on this interview and they want to start following you or see what you're about, where should they go?
I would say the best place to see the most authentic me, I'm most comfortable on Instagram.
Tell them how to get to you on Instagram.
At k.ellen.sears.art.
k.ellen, E-L-L-E-N .sears, S-E-A-R-S.A-R-T.
That's me.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Ellen. This was lovely. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me. It was lovely.
You are so welcome.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you haven't yet, be sure to hit subscribe so that you can get new episodes loaded straight onto your phone as soon as they're ready. And if you're one of those people who wants all the things, be sure that I get your email so that I can send you invitations to free classes, send advice your way, and share details about how you can go deeper with me. Just click on the show notes to sign up.